There we go. There is the lady in the red hooded top. And there is the bus, and there's what's left of the woman in red. Postmortem, written and directed by Tom Naver. Did she just... Oh my god. So, there's the bus. There's the market. There is the same woman in red. This is a claim that somebody died because of a supernatural event. There's a strange new rule developing in the paranormal on YouTube. You can take footage from somewhere else, you can remove the original context, you can add some ominous music from Epidemic Sounds, and suggest that something shows a real supernatural event. And you can tell hundreds of thousands of people that the person in the footage, they died shortly after the event. But when somebody checks the source and discovers that what's being promoted as a real paranormal event leading to somebody's death is in fact a Philippine movie, a horror movie, suddenly my investigation is the uncomfortable part. Beardos, weirdos, balls and ghouls, you beautiful people, how are you all doing today? Before we get into this, I want to make something very clear. This isn't a personal spat. A paranormal content creator reached out to me this weekend and basically said, can you not make any more videos using my footage? Using his videos. There was no threats attached to it, there was no threats of copyright claims or copyright strikes. He asked politely, and I agreed politely, and then I questioned him politely. And the time of recording this, which is Sunday at 2 PM, I've received no response. So in this video, I'm not going to be ignoring his request and starting a war. I'm not going to be playing his edit, using his narration, or any parts of his compilation. Instead, I'm going to examine one of the claims that are made in the video independently, because I've seen this show up on reaction channels and other top 5 channels and TikTok clips and Facebook clips. I'm going to be using the original promotional material for where this ghost footage came from. The promotional material for a horror movie. Because once I've traced the footage back to its original source, this stopped being about a disagreement about reaction content. It's become a much broader question about responsibility. A fictional death of a fictional character has been promoted by top 5 channels as though a real woman has died. And seemingly, nobody that has uploaded this clip as spooky content with a death ever bothered to check whether this person that died actually died or ever existed in the first place. The clip that I'm talking about on a top 5 channel was on Mind Junkie, but I didn't watch it through Mind Junkie. Me and my daughter were watching Casper Site, as we often do, to laugh and chuckle, and this clip starts playing, and Casper Site's reaction says everything. He's like, oh my, oh, I just, tell me she's not dead, tell me she's not, oh my god. And you can see him being visibly moved and upset by this clip. And my daughter looked at me and went, that's horrific, and I went, that's a film. I've seen that film, but the angles were different and the image was clearer. So the clip shows a woman walking wearing a red coat or a red hoodie type thing. She's walking down road, she's walking amongst people, and her head morphs and disappears. And shortly afterwards, you just see this bus hurl up a street, hit her, and you can guess the rest. And the paranormal framing for this is that it's a death omen in the Philippines, which has been used in movies before. I've seen a few movies with they take a photo and the head is all out of shape or completely missing, and the same thing applies to videos. It's in numerous different movies. And it's basically seen that your head disappearing in photographs or movie footage is a premonition or an omen to the death of the person whose head is missing. It's not exactly subtle, is it? A woman experienced a paranormal event and then died. All captured on CCTV. There's people pointing at the CCTV like, oh my god, look at this. Terrifying. But the paranormal claims of her head disappearing and then she dies, well, doesn't that change the nature of the claim completely? This isn't somebody claiming that some blurry shadow in the corner is a ghost, or you can clearly see a piece of wire pulling tins off a shelf. This isn't asking if, is it a ghost? Is it a poltergeist? Did you see it? Or any of that stuff. This is a claim that somebody died because of a supernatural event. This is a claim involving the apparent death of a real person, potentially a person with a family, a person whose death would have, I don't know, got some form of news media coverage, police responses, police reports, some form of record being generated anyway. There's a date on the video timestamp for March 2025. So why is there no documentation available? This isn't an alleged death in 1827 where there's nobody in living memory about. This is last year. This is a supposedly recent event resulting in somebody's death. But you can't find the woman's identity. You can't find anything when you look for the date of the incident. And trust me, it was hard work because I don't speak any other languages than English. There was zero proof that this death actually occurred. And I looked hard because there's some variations in the footage from the movie that I saw. And I'm like, could I be wrong here? Initially, I thought it was a movie called Dala. And then I've had to sit and watch Dala again, and it wasn't in that movie. I was convinced it was there. I'm like, oh, have I been wrong? Ah, dear. So I couldn't find anything. And apparently, and this isn't me just going at Mind Junkie, this is across the board, apparently asking those types of questions, the questions that John Wolfe, Mr. Grey, Mythos, The Shape, Crow of Judas, The Side-Eye Guy, myself, any of those questions that we ask is suddenly less important than these guys adding some spooky music. Okay, so I'm going to show you something here. This is on Facebook. We Camp Entertainment by Baing Walang Ulo sa CCTV. This loosely translates to woman dies on CCTV, but We Camp Entertainment. Now, this should be the original clip. Right, it is. I'm going to be very careful because this is a movie, so be very careful how much I show. There we go. There is the lady in the red hooded top. And then we get this woman looking shocked. She knows something is coming, and there is the bus, and there's what's left of the woman in red. This is the aftermath of the bus scene. March the 19th, 2025, Philippine cinemas nationwide. Postmortem, written and directed by Tom Naver. But that's the clip that I remember, but it's the same woman in the red coat, but different angles. So then I've gone back and back and back. The original clip that was shown on Facebook, it's now been uploaded by somebody called Roxy, and that's where Mind Junkie has got the clip from Facebook. But he hasn't gone any further back than that to see where this clip came from, because I have, and it's been removed, and I believe it's been removed because people thought it was a real death. I've got a link, but I click the link and I just got a grey screen and this video has been removed, or this video is unavailable for whatever reason, and then you click the reasons and it's all, is it AI, is it your internet connection, all things that is not because of. So, I don't speak the language that this film was released in, but I know I've seen it with subtitles, but the angles are different, and in 3 clicks, I find the original source for it. Postmortem by We Camp Entertainment. And I'm not going to play this because I've been asked not to, but this is Caspersight's reaction to it, and he's like, holy shit, did she just, oh my god. So, there's the bus, there's the market, there is the same woman in red. Now, what makes this believable? Well, this footage has been downloaded, uploaded, and it's lost. It's just compressed to hell and back, so it looks like grainy CCTV footage. As we can see here, there's somebody pointing at this CCTV footage. It was a viral marketing campaign. They released it to look like CCTV footage 4 days before the movie trailer dropped. But you know what else they included in it? Was a link to the trailer, and then later the link to the movie. There were some clips and some still images from the film's promotional material, and what I've found that's being posted online now, and people are reacting negatively to it. We've got the same woman, the same clothing, same visual setup, just one is more degraded because it's been downloaded and uploaded so many times. It's not real CCTV footage that's been independently captured or released by the police for an appeal for witnesses or anything like that. It's not a real fatal accident. It was promotional material to get a viral campaign going online, much like what the Blair Witch Project did. And it's all to do with this Filipino film called Postmortem that I distinctly remember watching. And I distinctly remember seeing the bus and the woman in red and the head glitching stuff. But the footage that Caspersight is reacting to, unknowingly, isn't CCTV footage at all. It was a promotional stunt by the film company to drum up some interest before the real trailer dropped. It was a viral stunt and it worked. Specifically, they created the headless woman effect with editing skills. The film itself is a supernatural curse where people's heads are not in shot for videos and CCTV, or people are even noticing that heads are glitching with their own eyes. But that specific clip, the other angles were just promotional material before the real trailer dropped. This isn't like footage that somebody has found that resembles this film or this film was based on it. It's the promotional marketing campaign to make a viral ad. And you compare what Caspersight has been reacting to the trailer that you can find on Facebook, and I'll link it in the description down below. Same woman, same bus, same market, same setup, same day, same dates, the collision, everything. It all 100% links back to the promotional material for the Postmortem Filipino movie. So the production's own social media posts, they described the footage as a headless woman on CCTV promote the film's March 2025 release. One later post even described the supposed CCTV story as fake news. So with 3 clicks and the most minuscule amount of research, luckily I've seen this movie, I have collapsed the entire paranormal mystery of this clip that has scared somebody and upset somebody. Just because I checked the source. So there is no disappearing real woman, nobody's real heads are being masked out of existence, there is no documented supernatural premonition involving disappearing heads. It's a horror film production. The ghost has left the building, and there's a production guy stood there somewhere with a red coat like, where did she go? But this is the part that really bothers me. Before showing footage of somebody potentially really dying, surely the first job of a channel with the size of Mind Junkie and the audience that he's got, his first job should be to verify the death. Not just look for the supernatural effect, because this was only 2025. And if that person had only died in 2025 and they are using it for spooky clips, there's a moral question there. But there's a moral question here of saying somebody died and they haven't. Why did Mind Junkie not look at this clip and be like, oh, I better be careful with this because somebody has potentially died, and try to find a recording of the death? Because it would have made the papers in the Philippines. Where did it happen? How did it happen? Did the police force attend because they're in the CCTV footage? Was it reported by local news? Was the victim ever identified? Was the road closed? Was there an investigation? A woman being killed by a bus in a public market? It's quite a public event. Not exactly a minor event now, is it? Especially if her head keeps disappearing beforehand. This would be massive if this was real. But the part we need to focus on is people are claiming somebody died to a supernatural event and they didn't. Because if this was real, well, somebody's family has just lost a family member. There were witnesses everywhere. Surely that would affect those. I imagine there would have been some news coverage, or I imagine there would have been somebody getting sued for a bus just ploughing into a public area and killing someone. Yet this dramatic story is appearing all over the internet and it's getting repeated and re-uploaded without establishing the most basic fact. Did anyone actually die? And the answer to that is no. It's a horror film. And this isn't the first time. I've seen top 10 clips with re-edited Paranormal Activity movie clips, so they flipped them and added a bit of blur to it. And this is the big bit. This is the bit where it causes an issue, that this is easily researchable because it's a movie. This was promoting Postmortem. Those images, that CCTV footage was used to promote a movie, and there were links leading to the real trailer last year. You don't need to be a specialist forensic in computers or the internet to work out what the hell just happened. 3 clicks on a search bar. That's all it took. Calling that poor research, it feels a little bit too gentle for the type of person that I am, you know? Because when you tell an audience that somebody has died or may have died, you are using emotional weight, emotional leverage of an imaginary victim. It's a shocking moment. We can see that reaction in Caspersight. He's shocked and like, have I just seen, oh my god. Horror is far more powerful when you think it's real. People have watched this clip and genuinely believe that they have watched somebody's final moments. And that responsibility isn't on me, that responsibility is on the original uploader. The guy telling people that this spooky clip, that's on him. He should have researched this. But to see this perceived death, well, that brings up fear, that brings up sympathy, outrage, like what I'm feeling right now. Comments, shares, watch time, ad revenue, ooh, sweet, sweet ad revenue. But there's no victim, there's no bereaved family, there's no unexplained death. And listen, you can upload whatever you want onto your channel, but you have to research it first. You should sure as hell be able to spot promotional material for a horror movie. In my opinion, this is just somebody using emotional reaction. And I'm not saying mind junkie, maybe he just didn't research it properly. But whoever is passing this around initially as real footage, they're using a fictional tragedy to buy subs, views, ad revenue. It's disgusting. They're using a fictional tragedy for the gravity of a real one. That ethically is rotten to the core. Imagine that you've just watched that clip on whoever's channel and then gone, shit, I've just seen somebody die. What if you're watching it with your family like I was? Then the conversation goes to, I wonder what her final moments are. The family. What if she had kids? What if she was married? And the speculation that it was because of a curse and turning an apparent death into entertainment for top 5 channels. And then somebody that's been told off numerous times, do not use our footage, comes along and says, that's not real. That's a movie. I've seen it. Look, I found the original source. Why did nobody else check if this was real? Because it's not harmless storytelling when you see the reaction of Caspersite, who's just mortified at what he's seen. My daughter's reaction to what she had just seen. My initial reaction was, oh my... wait. I wonder how many people speaking English watch the amount of foreign horror movies that I do. This isn't harmless storytelling or an entertaining ghost tale when people believe they have just watched somebody die on CCTV. This is misinformation wearing funeral clothes. It's fucking outrageous that this has gone on. And this is where the paranormal compilation channels, they often got the get out of jail free card. And it's this one powerful phrase, you decide. But the viewer can't decide. The viewer can't make an informed decision when the most important information, i.e. it's a fucking film, has been withheld by somebody. I'm not saying Mind Junkie has, but somebody has before it got to Mind Junkie, or potentially Mind Junkie himself. You can't present the film scene without presenting it as a film scene. You can't claim it to be possibly real paranormal CCTV footage and then be like, well, but I'm neutral because I've said, you decide. You've already given the narrative. The framing work has already been done. The music that is added in by Mind Junkie is more spooky than what originally goes on in that CCTV footage. He's added his own music to it from Epidemic Sounds. The narration, oh, it's unexplained. No, it's not. It's a movie. The title says it's paranormal. Viewers, this is paranormal. The supposed death makes it such a powerful scene to watch, or such a powerful clip to watch, it could leave people distraught and upset. The you decide is the equivalent of doing this. Twirling your moustache. That wasn't a balanced presentation, was it? It was suggestion to avoid accountability. Completely morally bankrupt. And this brings me back around to the request that started this video. I have agreed not to use that specific content creator's videos anymore. I won't be doing it for anyone else, purely because he asked nicely. Now, I asked a few other content creators, reaction channels and debunking channels, and the general consensus was tell him to fuck off, cheeky bastard. So I've respected my agreement with him. I'm not using his footage. I've shown a still from Caspersite reacting to his footage, and I found the original source. But respecting his request does not mean that I can ignore his false claims in that clip, because the original material still exists, the movie still exists, the original promotional material still survives on the internet, and the factual sources can be, well, examined and verified because I've done it for you. Doesn't all of this then create a really uncomfortable contradiction from the top 5 channels? A compilation creator, Nuke, Slapped Ham, any of the above, Mind Junkie, whoever, Mindseed, can take fictional promotional footage, discuss it as a paranormal event leading to a real death, transform that into monetized content, but then look at debunkers and be like, yeah, don't use my footage. Why is it that when he transforms content, that's absolutely fine, but if we transform content through criticism, research, and correction, because I am correcting you, nobody died, why is that so much more undesirable than you taking random clips off the internet, throwing them up for the world to see and saying, you decide? I think I know the answer. It's because the critics, the debunkers, the truth seekers, well, they kind of take the mystery away from you, don't they? I've replaced the "could this be a real supernatural warning that you are going to die" into that's an advert for a horror film. I've seen it. One generates fear, one generates accountability. But only one of those appears to be welcome, and it's not the accountability, and it's not me. Personally, I think that Mind Junkie, should you see this video, because clearly you don't want me reacting to your videos, if you see this video, if anyone sees this video that watches Mind Junkie, you better inform him. You're showing something as potentially real, and it's not. I would expect him to change the description of the video. I would expect him, at the very least, to put out a community post saying, a critic, a video analyst, whatever you want to call it, you don't even have to name me, has pointed out this woman didn't really die, it was a movie. But in the interest of fairness, I'm not claiming that Mind Junkie knowingly lied. I think somebody did along the way, and maybe he's just been pulled into that. For me to say that he's done this on purpose, that he lied, that he knew that it was a movie, well, I'd need evidence, and I would need evidence that he knew at the time of posting his video, and I can't prove that. It is entirely possible that he has just seen the repost by Roxy. He's just seen that on Facebook and then taken it to re-upload with his own narrative without checking the source. He should have, the second that people think that somebody's died. But him failing to know something still doesn't excuse that he has put out false information about a death. It doesn't excuse him from publishing bad information. There is a massive difference between, like deliberately inventing a story and then not performing basic checks. 3 clicks that it took me. And I did have a bit of an advantage in that I'd already seen the movie. I questioned myself because the angles weren't the same, but then I realised promotional, link to the trailer to the movie. Because by him not checking, especially because there's a death, that's the point where he should have thought, I need to look at this a bit more. There's been a death. He's spread misinformation. Maybe on purpose, probably on accident. But intention does matter when you're judging a person. And for him to tell me not to react to his stuff or request me not to react to his stuff, and I've just seen that, you don't really have any moral high ground here, sir. So is this another case of criticism being silenced? No, because a polite request, that's not censorship. Mind Junkie has asked me not to react or use any of his videos, and I have agreed. It doesn't mean that I can't watch one of his videos and then go and find the original clips and make my own debunking videos of those clips, because that's what he does. He just looks at clips on the internet, throws them into his editing software, puts spooky music over there and his dramatic narration, and uploads. Where's the difference? But this situation does need to be addressed by Mind Junkie and by anyone else putting this out there. They have to look at what I have said here, and then they have to see that this is a problem, that nobody died. This was from a movie. It was promotional material for a Filipino movie called Postmortem. And the issue here is that a supposed death being captured on CCTV was so shocking and so like, oh, imagine the views for this, that nobody checked to see if the death was real. And if it had been real, would you have posted it then? For somebody dying in 2025? And to these content creators that are doing this sort of thing, if your story needs a fictional woman to become a real corpse, just so your video gets that little bit more frightening or spooky, the problem is you, not the debunker that points out where the footage came from. The problem is the story. And I'll honour my agreement. I won't make any more videos on Mind Junkie top 5, top 10 clips, but I can certainly go and find whatever clips I want for myself, because I will continue to check the claims. I will not use his videos, but I will continue checking the claims from his content. You can't stop that, because nobody whatsoever on the platform should be allowed to turn an imaginary death into paranormal evidence. Rotten. And I'll end with this. The paranormal internet is not being damaged by criticism. The paranormal internet is being damaged by people who publish first and never ever do any form of investigation. And I don't mean paranormal investigation. Investigate the claims. Investigate the clips. That's your job. So with all that being said, do please let me know what your thoughts are in the conversation down below. Now, Mind Junkie has asked me politely. I'm assuming if I'd said no, I'd have got copyright claims or strikes. If I start receiving claims or strikes because of this video, then I've got a chain of evidence to suggest that this is being done to spite me because, well, look what I did. I looked at one claim from that video and I've proved it was a movie. Much love to you all. Beardo out.